I think it's a mistake. I think it's a fatal mistake. I think that pushing Hamas to the corner, I'm not sure that we can get to peace with Hamas, but we have to try it. And they offered, as you said, a long-term ceasefire. One thing is very clear. Cast-led was about to weaken Hamas. Hamas is today as strong as never before in Gaza. And Hamas is governing Gaza, and Hamas is responsible to the fact that law and order are kept in Gaza more than ever. There are no armed gangs anymore. They are also implementing anti-democratic rules in Gaza, which might be very regrettable. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not supporting them at all. But the outcome is that they are there. It's a fait accompli, and we had to challenge them. We had to try, because, you know, the best thing would have been to negotiate with Canada about peace between Israel and Canada. We will share the same values, we speak the same language, we will find so many things in common. But Canada is not the enemy, and you have to talk to the enemy, for God's sake. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to try to shorten the embarrassing part. So I just wanted to...
This is always a guarantee for the longest question.
I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your experience. I actually came all the way from Waterloo to here to basically hear you speak. My question is, it's related to the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions Conference happening in Montreal on October 22nd. So my question is, what do you think of the Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions movement as a tool to pressure Israel into complying with international law?
So according to the tradition, I will say, I will give you a brief answer, which means it's going to be quite a long one. First of all, boycott is a legitimate weapon. And Israel is the last one to claim that it's not a legitimate weapon, because Israel is using it, and how? What is the siege on Gaza if not boycott? What is the boycott on Hamas if not boycott? What are the sanctions on Iran if not boycott? So first of all, it's a legitimate weapon. The second thing I would like to say is that me as an Israeli, who does not boycott Israel, me personally, I boycott any products of the occupied territories. I do it for many years, and I will not change it. I always embarrass all kinds of ambassadors who invite me for dinner in their homes, and then they bring this Golan wine, which is from the Golan Heights. And in Israel, the Golan Heights are not part of the occupation. You know, we ordered ourselves also this. That these are not settlers on the Golan, and the Golan is not occupied. So I keep on boycotting in my private life the occupied territories. I don't boycott Israel. And as long as I live in Israel, I can't call anyone else to boycott Israel, because I think it would be hypocritical from my point of view to call other people to do what I don't do. But in any case, one should be very careful not to make the boycott as a goal. It should be a mean, not a goal. I can very easily understand the sentiment which calls to punish the Israelis. I can very easily understand the need to make the Israelis pay for the occupation, because they don't pay for it. But even if they pay, like they paid in the second Intifada, and they paid, they never made a connection between the occupation and the price they are paying. There were the suicide bombers because the Palestinians were born to kill, because the Palestinians are monsters. Nobody asked, how do we get to a situation that young people are ready to sacrifice anything they have? Nobody asked, and if you dare to ask, they will blame you that you justify terror, because you try to understand the roots of it and the reasons, and there are reasons. But in any case, when the Israelis paid, they didn't find the connection, or they ignored the connection. Same might be with the boycott. It might go one of two ways. One way in which it will be effective. Many of my friends say, just try to prevent the Israelis for the next sale in Macy's or in Galeries Lafayette by asking them for visas or making it harder for them to get to Europe or to New York, and the whole occupation will be over. Maybe it's right. I wish it will be right, and then I'm calling from here officially, please boycott Israel. if it will be effective. But I'm not sure. It can also push the Israelis to the more nationalistic corner, because again the brainwash system will tell them, look how the world is anti-Semitic, look how the world is punishing us for nothing, we are the victims, we are the one who suffer, we had the Holocaust, now we have the boycott. This will be the way it will be perceived in Israel. So I leave it open to you to decide. Yes, please.
Thank you. So on that victim mentality, this is a weird question and a bit of a segue, and I apologize to everyone if it's the stupid question of the evening, but having not been brought up in Judaic culture at all and having asked many people who have and not received the answer, why are Jews considered to be the chosen people, and where did that start, and what does that mean?
It started in the Bible, and it should have ended in the Bible. The problem that we took it far away from the Bible. And the Bible is a wonderful book, but there are really horrible things written in the Bible. The worst, racist and nationalistic, and really, I would prevent the Bible from anyone who is less than 18. At least in the way that it's being taught in Israel. And I studied in a secular school, total secular school, but if a Bible book fall on the ground, we rush to kiss it. In a secular school in Israel. So anyhow, it starts in the Bible. And I think most of the Israelis have carried this feeling that we are better than anyone else. Talk to Israelis, you'll get to it. We are always the best with everything. And we are always more clever than anyone else. And you can feel it on any daily conversation with almost any Israeli. Try it and you will feel it by yourself.
I was trying to think, as I was listening to your talk, a very sobering picture you paint of what the message is for us here, what our responsibility is. It's good to come to meetings like this. It's good to organize meetings like this. We appreciate tremendously your coming here, writing the book. But in the end, we're sitting in this room, and what do we do about it? What's our responsibility? I was also struck by the fact that Israel's a very tiny country. If you just think of the Jews in Israel, 5 million people in the Middle East. The only reason it holds out is because of the international support it gets from the US, from Canada, the strongest supporter of Israel, according to Netanyahu. And I think this gives us extra responsibility. And I'd like to suggest to all of us here tonight that coming out of the meeting, we take away from your presentation the need for all of us to get involved. First of all, the CJPME,
okay, I like that.
which I gather is growing rapidly. The movement in solidarity with Palestine and against Israel's atrocities in the Middle East is a large and growing movement. From inside Israel, you can feel the siege. But if you look at the world situation, it's completely the opposite, especially since Cast led. And there are hundreds of opportunities for people in this room to get involved, from CJPME, the Boat to Gaza. I'm a member of the Coalition Against Israeli Apartheid, and we're promoting boycott, divestment, and sanctions, There are many other opportunities. It's the strength of the movement, its diversity. We should all come out of this meeting tonight with a resolution to do something about this situation.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much for your presentation. What I was struck by was your description of the Israelis living in their homeland and in their homes and the Palestinians being designated as being in the backyards of the Israelis. Could you clarify that for us, please?
No, the image of backyard is the image of the front window of Israel, which seems to be democratic. And in the backyard, you carry this brutal occupation, which is quite hidden from the Israeli society. And therefore, I'm using this image, the nice face of Israel on one hand, and what is hidden in the backyard or in the cellar on the other hand, mainly hidden from the Israeli society. The world knows much more about the Israeli occupation than any average Israeli. And unfortunately, the world also cares much more than any average Israeli. Yes?
Yeah, hi, Salam. Actually, I should point out to you that Salam, Shalom, is actually originally Salam. Okay. But we're getting into a linguistic point here.
No, it's not linguistic, because we stole from you, you know, falafel is the national Israeli food. When I was a child, I was sure we invented it. We stole from you the Jaffa oranges. I was sure it's Jewish. And we stole from you also the salam. And the land. And the land.
Actually, you're forcing me to say that in my book, which has just been published, it's called Hidden Histories, I have a chapter on appropriation, which has about 15 items that you appropriated. But actually, I was trying to beg the attendants outside to let me in free because I'm Palestinian. You know? My thing really is about the psychology. You know, I don't know if you can get. I'm sure you can address the psychological question. My question really is about the claim system. I mean, every colonial enterprise, as you know in history, whether it was in Australia or in North America or whatever, had a good justification system. And in fact, in North America, it was the same Bible that you're talking about that was used as an instrument of justification. In Israel, the problem is that the Jews that came, the Zionists that came, tried to convince people that they are actually the natives and not the Palestinians who are the natives. So, I mean, that's the ironic twist on that. But you obviously were able to get out of that indoctrinating claim system. You know, a lot of Jews in North America and a lot of Israelis are not able to do that. My question, and actually it's a very adaptable system because it keeps adapting with time. So my question to you is, how can you advise that we can, just like you were able to get out of that indoctrinating system, how can other people, other Israelis, other Jews, other Western people who are actually indoctrinated by the same notions, how can they get out?
Yeah.
I know about Israel. First of all, I wish I knew, if I would have known the answer to this, maybe things would have seemed different. But in Israel, at least, the key is the media. Because the media is very influential, and the media is the main responsible for the brainwash. Now, when I speak about media, I'm not speaking about editorials. Editorials, you get everything. You get leftist articles, opinion pages, opinion articles, and right-wing. It's not about the editorials. It's about the flow of information on a daily basis. It's about the language. I can hold here a whole lecture, but Grace will kick me out soon, about the language of the occupier. How this laundry of words is working for years and decades. How we are building ourselves a whole world, imaginative world, only by using all kinds of terms and words just to feel better with ourselves. So I think, at least in my country, the key is the media.
Global Broadcast News.